Hey everybody, this is Rustin Rose with Metalholic Magazine and Metal Nation Radio, and we've caught him rolling down the highway, our brother CJ Pierce at Drowning Pool. How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing great. I haven't wrecked yet. I'm good. I'm going to pull over and hang out and talk to you for a minute. Too bad I don't have a case of beer with me, though. That would have been...
a vodka shot, something, right? So. Well,
oh, yeah, those are the best.
We don't want you to get in an accident. We have already lost too many of our rock and roll heroes in the last 30 days or so. It's insane.
Dude, it's been pretty nuts with all that going on. I can't believe it. So, yeah, I'm watching out. I'm watching for these idiot drivers. No worries.
All right, well, let's talk about all the things going on in CJ and Drowning Pool's world. I hear there's some big news. Marshall and Ovation, congratulations are in order.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's huge news. You know, especially with the Marshall, man. Those guys, Nick Bocott's great. I've known him for years. And, you know, when we did the Center record, that's what I used. I had a Marshall head. At the time, it was a studio's head. It wasn't mine. And it sounded amazing. I think that's kind of one of those staple sounds I've always had. And just throughout the years that the singer switches and label management, all those switches, I've played through different amps. I've been on custom for a long time, and I do love those guys. But that new JVM 210, man, sounded freaking amazing, and I used it on the new record. So I'm like, you know, this is my sound. This is the amp that I like to use. Let's go with Marshall. And I sat down with Nick at the NAMM convention this past weekend, and we shook on it. We looked eye to eye. Do this. I'm on Marshall. Same thing with Ovation, too, man. My buddy Bill, Xavier, who used to work with BC Rich Guitars, works at Ovation now. Super nice guy. He's like family, and he's there this year. And I wasn't expecting anything. I just went to say, hey, check him out, and he brought me on the Ovation family as well. We will be doing, you know, new acoustic performances every now and then for radio and stuff. So he just handed me a new Ovation that I will be using, I do. So thank you, Bill.
Fantastic. How was NAMM this year?
You know, crazier than ever, man. You know, I usually go every year. I've been going since 2001, but I didn't go the last 2 years just because stuff was going on at the time. So I don't know if it's just because I took 2 years off or it's just the fact that it's crazier than ever. But it's 24/7 nonstop, and got to catch up with a lot of people. There's a lot more people I didn't get to see, but definitely went 100 miles an hour. And for us, you know, they started doing this NAMM Awards, which is an official metal award show for metal bands.
Right.
A guy that's on the board with the Grammys. He's like, you know, you never see any metal on the Grammys. Of course you're not going to see that because it's the devil's music, right? You can't have that on TV. So he started his own award show, and we got to play it, and it was freaking killer, man. It was a really good time. You know, it was for a good cause.
Well, let's talk about Hellelujah because that's what we're here for. First off, great title, by the way.
Hallelujah! Come on!
Yeah, so tell us about the new record from your perspective.
Yeah, man, this record has never been more free an experience. I mean, it's kind of reflects back to Center record in many ways. I mean, we're writing those songs, and we were an unsigned band just doing whatever the hell we wanted to do. We're playing, you know, at bars for free beer on the weekends, and you didn't get into this whole system, this whole music business, if you will. So we've been in that. We've been through a lot of ups and downs, and like I said, singer changes. Everybody knows that, and management stuff. Going into this record, you know, we got a solid lineup. Jason Marino's our man. He's going to continue to be our man. The singer switch is over. And then the same thing label-wise. You know, we signed with the new label E1, who are all rock dudes that told us, make whatever record you want to make, say what the hell you want to say, and give it to us when you're done, man. So it was one of those things where we just had all the freedom in the world. We did exactly what the hell we wanted to do, put out a metal record, and that's what we got. Hallelujah.
I was wondering, you know, especially when I first started listening to it, you guys just got done touring the 13th anniversary of the Sinner album, playing it night after night.
Right.
Did that sort of bleed over into the writing of the new material?
Most definitely, man. You know, the writing process is an ongoing thing. I never stop. I don't, sit down okay, time to write. Some bands do that, but I'm always, you know, if I'm feeling inspired, I pick up the guitar and I start writing music. And so some songs are obviously coming together throughout the year or so leading up to Hellelujah, but the very final touches in the last group of songs there are definitely inspired by that. You know, it was, I don't think a lot of bands go back to their first record and really sit down and relearn it, let alone play it every single night. So I was definitely influenced by that time period. I mean, I wrote that record 15 years ago, and a lot of that came through. I think songs like By the Blood and Hell to Pay, for example, you know, definitely have that core Drowning Pool sound. So if you were a fan back then, you're definitely going to love this new record.
Well, and as you said, this is Jason's second album with the band. He's had time to tour, to settle in. He is the man. How did he impact the new record this time, having all that background with you guys for the last few years in that touring?
Yeah, we've known Jason forever, man. He came up on the scene in Dallas. Super great guy. I mean, he's his local, you know, the band he played in at the time were open up for Drowning Pool off and on throughout the years as well. And I think going into that first record, when we finally got Jason, he was just like, here we go. We jumped in and we wrote it in the first 3 months. He was in the band. We went and recorded it before we even started playing shows together and really got to know each other, like really know each other. I love Resilience. I think it's a great record. It's kind of a record of discovering who we are. But now, I mean, we definitely know who we are and what we want to sound like, and it just brought us back to that core sound that we have. Jason's a singer-songwriter as well, and he's got his own cool set of pipes that he brings to our music, man. So, yeah, things have never been better, man. We're all on the same page. I couldn't be happier with any record.
Well, and you guys said, I believe, so far on this album, it's the most diverse it's been in terms of spreading out the songwriting a little bit. You guys were all more involved than ever before. Is that the case? Yeah,
we're all involved a lot more, and we all bounce ideas off each other more so than ever, man. Definitely, we come together. We just come together on it. We're all on the same. It's nice when everybody's on the same page. I mean, I think if anything, the battle's been just we had so many different ideas. It's like which one do we hone in on, and which ones do we put together that work together for this record? And once we got that down, we nailed it down with Jason Sukoff in Florida and knocked it out.
And Hellelujah, to my ears, sounds like your most aggressive album overall. Would you agree with that, or am I out in left field?
I keep hearing that, the cliche thing to say when a new record comes out, this is every we've ever sound, this is the best record we've ever done. But I honestly truly feel like this is the heaviest record we've ever done, and it's one of the best things we've ever done by far, man. We wanted to go in a heavier direction anyway. Again, we just went through, it's just life in general, man. Life can beat you down, and it's just our way of expressing it, the frustration and getting it out. I think a lot of people have the same kind of frustration, especially in their personal life, whatever it is, whatever job you have. For us, it's the music business, which has changed rapidly over the last few years, and dealing with those aggravations. And this band's been hit with all kinds of stuff. It's a daily thing with the drama fools. So a lot of that comes out in the music, and also, man, just the heavier stuff's fun to play live.
Well, and I was sort of wondering about that anyway, because when I heard it and it sounded so much more aggressive, and I noticed you switched producers as well as record labels. You tapped Jason Rolling Thunder Sukoff. What made you choose him? Is it for that sort of aggression? Because he's usually more of an extreme metal guy.
Yeah, we're probably the lightest record he's ever produced. Well, that's why we went with Jason. We wanted to go heavier, and probably we're going to go even heavier than this. Definitely going to go heavier than this. But, that's what he's known for, man, and he's great at that. We wanted a producer that was going to help us get that sound that we wanted and help us go in that direction. And he did exactly that, man. We brought it to the table, and, he put his finishing touches on it. And he's just a great guy to work with, man. He's like a new best friend. I love that guy. Definitely, we all connected with him. We all clicked, for sure.
Yeah, it's a fantastic studio down there, too, that those guys have. So, did anything sort of new or interesting happen in the studio this time?
One thing that was different on this record that we've never done is we popped out every single weekend to play shows on Friday and Saturdays while we were recording during the week.
Oh, wow.
But every other record in most bands, you just kind of hunker down for 2 or 3 months and just work on the record. So that was definitely a different thing. We definitely gave a lot of these songs a live test during the process of recording it, and I think that was an advantage too. You give it the live test, you know what's working, and you continue to record it. But other than that, dude, it was just work, man. We just went to town on it. I think business as usual with that, man. I think I probably drank a little bit more coffee than I usually do. I think I went to 2 pots instead of 1. But that's more best record, man. So gotta have a little extra coffee with that, with your metal.
There are so many fantastic songs on this album that I would love to talk about, but obviously we don't have the time. But one of the ones that I wanted to get the backstory on is We Are the Devil, because it's a great, aggressive, fun song anyway, but you got that really cool intro thing going there. Tell us the story there.
Yeah, that was an idea that initiated with Stevie Benton, the whole We Are the Devil and Life is Hell line, and then that was one that we kind of beat up in the room, and it just kept coming together and kept getting heavier. We were bouncing ideas off and on about the chorus and the delivery of that and the post-chorus. I remember that had a couple different changes, but once it came together, man, it clicked, and it was another one of the songs that we had on. We got to try out pretty early. We opened up a show with Slayer a few months back in El Paso, and we played that one live, and it just went over freaking awesome. So it's a fun song to play on. It's definitely one of the standout tracks on the record for sure, man. And then it has the intro, which is a song called We Are the Devil that was written in like 1920 or something. I think it was more of a religious kind of a thing. I don't know. It's a fun song to play. I definitely know that.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I always wonder on every album, because it always seems like there's one, when you go in the studio, there's always that one song that you have to sort of fight with, like, to really get it where you want it.
There is, man. We had that one.
Which song was that one on this album?
Well, it was My Own Way, which turned out to be, to me, freaking jamming and fun. I think just because we had the idea of that song, that's one of those things. Jason kind of had an idea, and he sent it to me, and then we kind of kicked it around and put it together. And we didn't really get to attack that one as much as the band. But it always had something about it. It just needed a little bit more work. So right there at the end, it was probably the last one that we worked on together. And I think, you know, especially with our drummer, Mikey, was just like, all right, what the hell are we doing with this song, man? And we did a couple shots of vodka, and we hit record and went to it. I'm not even going to lie. And then that's how it came out, dude. It sounds great. I love this song. I look forward to playing it live.
Well, and speaking of which, I know you dig them all. But which track on the new album makes your nipples the hardest? Which one are you looking forward to jamming live the most?
Hard Nipples. Dude, I love By the Blood. It's a fun song. I mean, it sounds like classic Drownpool, and it also has a new Drownpool sound. I think it encompasses everything. And definitely has the foundation of this band. I mean, I'm glad E1 picked that as the focus track that they put out first. So I think they did a great choice with that. I love them all, man. It's hard to say because I love that one's jamming. I definitely love Drop and Push because that's kind of a newer style of Drownpool, and I like that direction. I hope fans dig those songs as well because those songs are very aggressive and heavier and jamming. So those are fun. And then, you know, that solo and Hell to Pay, love playing that solo. I just sit around the house and play it all the time now since we recorded the record just because it's fun solo to play. So I hope fans dig that as well.
All right. This year, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but this year actually marks the 20th anniversary of the band. What do you remember most about those early years before Sinner broke, before Bodies became an anthem, and you guys were just jamming and shit?
Man, my knees hurt when you said that. Has it been 20 years?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of blackouts. How did I get here? Man, you know, I'm forever eternally grateful that we're still in it, man. And I really appreciate people still hanging with our band with all the changes that we've had and sticking with it. And I'm glad everybody still enjoys Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. I love playing that song every night. I definitely remember when they came together. Just like any other song, man, just in a rehearsal room rocking out. I remember playing it in New Orleans and for the first time, or one of the first times, and my mom came out to the show and she's like, "What's this Let the Bodies Hit the Floor song? I like that song." I'm like, Mom likes the song. I guess we got a hit. It's good. But man, it's been quite the roller coaster ride, and it feels more like 40 years than 20 years. I'm telling you, man. This last year of my life has been the busiest year of my life. But all good things, man. You know, we got a new record coming out. Hellelujah, it's out. It should be out here in the next week or so, and couldn't be more proud of anything that we've done.
Absolutely. Well, it's a fantastic record. So one more question before we get out of here, and we'll let you get on with your evening. I know you are a huge music fan, well beyond Drowning Pool. You have your own side projects, and you record local bands and such. So you have the perspective of that sort of seasoned band versus the up-and-coming independents seeking exposure. I don't know if you've been paying attention to it, but internet radio's facing an imminent death here because the Webcaster Settlement Act of 2009 is going to expire, and they're basically going to make internet radio stations who support all the indie bands and play the songs you'll never hear on the radio are about to be squeezed out because they're not going to be able to afford to stay on the air. What do you think about internet radio and stuff like that? Are you a supporter or...
Yeah, support anyone and everyone who loves music, of course, man. I don't know exactly what that entails. I've heard about it. I don't know if they just have to pay some sort of, you know, fee or, you know, I'm sure they'd always find a way to tax us for something, and any way they can squeeze, whoever they are, squeeze money out of us. But, man, I think it's a sad day. I mean, that's one thing I love about us with Drowning Pool. I mean, every tour that we do, we always leave spots open for local bands. We're not one of those bored bands that have, like, a full package and nobody else can get on the shows. I know a lot of bands do that, but it's definitely part of our touring. Like, there was always going to be one or two local bands open up because that gives them the opportunity to play in their town. You know, we had those opportunities that were far and few between and very rare to get on with national acts before we were signed. But when we had those shows, you know, they always made a difference for us. We've always made, even if we make one new fan that night, it makes all the difference in the world. You know, just going to have to find another outlet, I guess. We'll find some other way to get your music out there, but for all the local bands still plugging away, you just got to stick with it, man. You know, it takes a long time, and it takes a lot of frustration in the beginning, but if you stick with it, it'll happen for you.
Yeah, it's not even the local bands. It's, you know, the bands that are signed, but, you know, they're not
even
big.
Signed band, independent signed bands, too, man. Yeah, it's pretty big. Pretty big hit.
We're gonna lose 5,000 internet radio stations at the end of the month because they're literally going to charge them so much money in royalties that even the terrestrial radio stations and the satellite radio stations don't have to pay, and they're just going to put them all out of business. And those are the ones that play all the songs on your album besides the singles, and play all the bands that haven't had a chance because they weren't around. And I didn't know if you were into that whole thing or following it or whatnot, so I figured
I heard about it. I didn't know to what extent and all the details of it, but I definitely know that was going on. But yeah, I mean, that was radio back in the day, dude. When I was coming up, at least the radio station in New Orleans, they would play, we got the new Led Zeppelin record. We can play half of it right now. That whole thing for you. You know, they used to play all records and all songs off of it, man. I definitely miss that. That was the way to hear new music. I mean, how were we supposed to? Dude, I love AC/DC. I love Pink Floyd and Guns N' Roses and Metallica, but they not only do they play them all the time, but they play the same exact song from them all the time, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I'm here in Dallas, and, you know, Pink Floyd got records for days, and they played, like, one song from them since 1970, like, every hour.
Right.
I got it memorized by now, man. Can you play another track off the record for the next 20 years every day? I mean, dude, come on, for real. Or at least make a little bit extra room for bands that are trying to come out there. They just really squeeze it down to, like, you know, 5 songs every hour. I don't know why that happened when radio used to be, and they wonder what the hell's going on, right? Like, that was usually your outlet. Everybody would listen to hear new stuff. Like, I love to hear new stuff, and it's harder to find that. And now they're making it even harder.
Exactly. Well, I will let you get back to it on the way out of here. Which track off the new album should we play?
Oh, man, that's tough. Have you played By the Blood already?
Nope.
Play it again.
All right, By the Blood from Drowning Pool. CJ Pierce, thank you so much for taking the time. The new album from Drowning Pool, Hellelujah, coming out the 5th of February, and we look forward to seeing you on the road again, my friend.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. Come on out.
Take
I'll
care.
be at the bar.